But now another political party here in Gauteng that has done considerably well, EFF, we're joined by the chairperson of the party, that is of course Mandisa Mashego. So Ms. Mashego, so far your party has garnered over 14% in Gauteng. Do you think that's a fair number?
It's fair considering we were expecting the growth. And also considering the realities that the turnout of the voters in Gauteng, I think, generally has dropped. However, our showing and our proportion of support that we have from the voters in Gauteng is extremely encouraging. We are only remaining with Johannesburg, Ekurhuleni, Tshwane, Mogale, Emfuleni to be concluded.
And also, Ms. Mashego, so when you look at the importance of Gauteng, so this is the country's economic hub, there has been a lot of concern about the voter turnout, but also apart from that, your party is now going forward. What's going to be your plan in terms of making sure that you're able to work hard to sustain the electoral fortunes that you've been able to gain?
Look, we've always been very clear that you can't get an outright victory and, topple over the governing party in a 5-year period. However, what is critical is growth and incremental growth. We need to do deeper work with all our constituencies. We need to reach out to additional constituencies, go back to our voter base, our initial voter base, our loyal voter base, but also speak to all various formations in business, in civic organizations, in non-governmental organizations, and all pressure groups to increase the pace of the revolution that we've embarked on. Because remember, we decided to pursue our revolutionary cause, to bring in a socialist economic framework to remove inequality, racial and gender-based inequality. And therefore, it's important that we engage in a deeper mobilization exercise as the EFF, deepen relationships with all our core constituencies so that they understand the impact of our economic policies that we've put forward. But we are very grateful to all the people and the supporters and the voters, and especially our members who have worked tirelessly, We're in a permanent campaign mode, as you know. I think we're the only organization that is permanently on a campaign mode. We escalated during elections, and therefore we are going to, in the new term, really deepen those relationships and do more work in terms of making everyone understand that our solution and the commitments that the EFF has firmly, consistently put forward 2014, 2016, and now again to reinforce our socialist framework and our outlook and our humanist policy framework is to actually get really fold up our sleeves. But we are extremely grateful for all the support, even donors, everybody, sympathizers. We are extremely, extremely grateful. We are hopeful that we'll end up on a higher level. As I've said, the metros are not concluded and the two largest local municipalities, so we are extremely optimistic at this point.
And just before I let you go, ma'am, now the issue now that has been coming out in Pretoria, the small parties raising a number of concerns. You as the EFF, are you pretty satisfied? Are you sympathizing with the cause of action that they're about to pursue? Do you think that there's a lot that they can gain by just going, perhaps exploring other options at hand? But do you sympathize with their cause?
Look, I mean, the IEC has been found wanting on several fronts, and extremely worrying fronts, from a governance point of view, from a deepening democracy point of view, from a free and fair elections point of view, from an integrity point of view. However, we've lodged our concerns. We have lodged a string of concerns that cut across various provinces, and some of our cases have been pursued and are still being probed by the police. We have been personally contacted to provide more information, and we don't believe that it's a significant number, which is significant enough to have changed the election outcome. We just believe that the IEC needs to tighten its screws in terms of governance frameworks, oversight, checks and balances, etc. But we will, of course, accept the outcome of the election. We do believe that by and large we were able to operate and, do what best we could do as the third largest party, which is barely 5-6 years old.
And just before I let you go, Ms. Mashiko, we know in the Gauteng legislature that you're quite vocal in so many issues. Sometimes you use your very unorthodox tactics. So what can people expect at the Gauteng legislature?
We're going to fight harder. We are hoping also that we should get an opportunity to practicalize some of the local economic development stuff we talk about for the informal traders, for all the people in townships who are producing product, making clothes, making food, the welders, the taxi industry. We need to get into the economic side of the discussion beyond the labor demands, because business must produce enough in order to pay proper wages, to escalate, promote black people across companies. What we demanded from the JSE in 2015 with our Economic Freedom March, we are going to consolidate, and we are going for the kill in the next 5 years. And so we want to drop the ANC below 50% so that we can start sending people to jail and delivering on certain things. We are very stringent about that. We've removed Brian Hlongwa in the last, we've opened several murder cases. We are going to continue with that because poverty, unemployment, youth unemployment, black women are in a dire situation. And of course, gender-based violence is something that we're going to tackle. We don't want any crime and any thuggery tolerated, in Gauteng, wherever the EFF has presence.
Certainly, they have it. Due to time constraints, we're just going to leave it there. Ms. Mashiko here from EFF Gauteng, really just sending a very sharp warning to now the Gauteng legislature that will be inaugurated as soon as the election process has been concluded. So really talking about a number of socio-economic issues that the province is still facing, notwithstanding the fact that this is the country's most rich province, part of the country in so many ways. So by all accounts, Sembegile, so many parties are still hanging around. Others really they've abandoned their stations, but others, of course, they are still hanging in here, trying to really see what's happening ahead as we just await the verification process. The last stats we had from the IEC is that about 70% of the votes have been captured. So now the main process will be about auditing to make sure that everything is a true reflection of the voters. So back to you in Pretoria.